And actually, I have to thank him very much for actually being a bit of a guinea pig the first time around I did this. Kurt Zauer is back. He apparently wants more punishment. So, Kurt, how you feeling tonight?
I'm great. What's going on? How you doing, Josh?
I launched a talk show. I'm working doing some temp work right now. I ended up lifting a lot of weight. I hadn't lifted in a long time, so I'm actually, I know I'm a little bit older than I was, because it's like I feel it a little bit more than I used to, a little bit more. I'm not like dead tired or anything like that, but it's like, man, and my appetite's coming back. That's the other thing too. My appetite's like coming back because, oh shoot, I almost forgot something important here. So let me just do that real quick. We just keep talking here.
Okay.
I ladies and gentlemen, I have become very, very good / bad at what I do. I'm supposed to be recording an audio version of this at some point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I just turned recorder on there too. So, all right, everything's in set now. You only lost a minute 11 seconds. Thank God I remembered to do that there, or else that would have been very awkward down there. It's like, oh, awkward. But,
all right.
All right. So now we're all set. I think I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I think we'll figure this out at some point. But no, man, it's just doing a life change, really. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing here. This is something it's funny. You realize, I think, I don't know what your writing goals beyond comics and world domination are. I don't know if it's in that order, but I know you have your goals there. But
it was funny. Just the other day, I was thinking a story that I kind of have in mind for a comic. It might actually be better as a short story. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah. Actually, we can talk about like some of your other like writing aspirations, and probably should actually. What I was kind of laboring at was the fact that everything we do is niche. Like everything we have, there's like that niche desire to, okay, where am I good at? What can I do? It took me about 6 months to realize that I kind of already have a niche in this freelance world. I make an ass of myself in front of people, and I'm good at it.
All right.
Hey.
It's good that you can realize that and admit it. So
yeah. Well, they gave me an award for it, so apparently I'm good at something, right? But I recognize something really important in that. More often than not, we are almost always doing what we're supposed to do. I think most of us, the real challenge is realizing what that actually is. Like that moment where you're like, hey, that thing I'm subconsciously doing, I'm good at this.
It takes time sometimes, like for me, I mean, my career's in, I do IT, and I don't necessarily enjoy it.
No,
but it pays the bills, and it helps me do these things. So, as time goes by, maybe I can make that transition into, this full time. That's the ultimate goal. If I could pull it off, amazing. If not, it's no small thing to do a career change, So we'll see. We'll see what I can do, if I can make it happen.
That's what I'm doing right now. I gave it 1 year. Like I'm going to find my niche. I'm going to go all in on my niche. I'm going to give it, and we'll see what happens in the time we have. Because honestly, I mean, why not? I mean, if there's ever a time to really figure out what your life purpose is, it's probably when the world's ending. It's a good time to put your priorities in order. That's how I kind of look at that.
It's true. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just figured, like, if it doesn't work out this year or by March next year, meh, right? I can always do something else. I can always go fishing and drinking and fishing some more.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, doodly doodly. Who's looking cute, me or Kurt? Kurt's got the awesome Deadpool shirt.
Doody doodly. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you.
Oh, I'll take that.
Right.
We'll take that. Hey, listen,
Thanks.
it works with both of us.
Thank you.
Yes. Wow, it's actually cool. I paid welcome for being the first streamer. But anyways, the thing about this is, I recognize the fact that you gotta try. At some point, you gotta put yourself into this, and you gotta put yourself into a position of, you know what? If this doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world to fail. It really isn't, right?
Well,
Heck,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not the end of the world to suck. It's okay. I mean, you know what? I would rather be a terrible like look, you'll never pay me to sing. You'll give me $5 to never sing again. But but the thing about that, right? It's like please don't give me the singing boy, right? But the thing about that is, right? You have to look at it from the point of view of you have to be willing to try. Like you have to really be serious and eliminate the excuse of like, you know what? I'm not going to get in my way. I'm just going to go for it, balls in, all the way. Let's see what happens, good, bad, or indifferent.
yep,
And
yep.
and if it doesn't work out, well, you know what? I can if I've done everything I know how to do and it still doesn't work out, right? I can live with that.
And you can't. At least you can say you tried, which a lot of people don't even do. They don't even come close.
Yeah, that's it, right? I
So
tried. I
you
mean,
tried, yeah.
I don't know. It's been kind of cool because I like. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about 101 Tales. It was a lot of fun for me. How about you?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that was no small feat to pull that off. I mean, my hats off to An and Mog and Mel and all of those people that put that together.
So we'll do this properly. Adam and Blatt, Mark Park, and Vu, Mel. Thank you very much for inviting us onto your
Yes,
show.
yes, that was. That's a lot to coordinate, a lot to put together, but I think it went off.
That's a heck of a resume. That's a heck of a resume addition.
Oh yeah, yeah. We coordinated over 100 groups of people,
Yeah,
and
100 artists that don't really have their own schedules, their own weird flaky things, and you know, it's one of those things where yeah, we'll have to put that at the end there. But the thing about that is, it's just one of those situations where you look at it and you go, "Wow!" Like you did it, like they did it, and it's an impressive thing. And I met so many cool people. Like you were one of the really cool people I got to meet. So I was just like, and we got to do terrible jokes about the fact that like, hey, I can be a flake and you can be too, and it's all good. That was the last time, right? So
that's right. It doesn't matter. It's still cool.
yeah, that's it. We're so like we're totally there. And anybody listen, it's like, what the hell are these two talking about? Well, we did a chat on my YouTube channel, which is Joshua Pentolaresco. You can it's in the archives. You can go there. Kurt is a really fascinating guy, and actually, I will talk a little bit about what I read. Like Spectress and Sabanion. I actually really so the zero issue. I want to be very honest with you. Like the preview issue, considering how the first issue finally looks and feels,
Yeah.
I wasn't as crazy about it after I read issue one. It's a good teaser, but the issue one, because I think it's denser. It's a lot denser. It's a lot, and also the feel of the book. And I know it's a big part. I know you don't, as an independent creator. I know your pencilers go off and do other things. And sometimes what happens there is maybe that person you started with zero, it's like wasn't available for one, but the look and feel was very different. So to the point where it was like it threw me off for a second, but then I read the story. Like you did. It's an interesting idea, man. It's almost like a cursed firestorm kind of thing. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of like demon and spirit just trapped together and trying to escape this world. And I'm curious what it sounds like Sabanion is just kind of going along for the ride here. Is that accurate?
He is. He's the thorn in Spectress's side. He's kind of the necessary evil. I mean, they're partners. They're not friends, but they're partners. Just because of the nature of the curse that binds them together. So it's funny you mentioned issue one. Yeah, issue one. I went with Sajad. He's not always available, and he's a little more expensive.
Well, yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of. He's done some DC covers and some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles so yeah, he's really good. And that first, I mean, he was my first. That was my first script, my first collaboration. So it was a very new experience for me. It was me kind of dipping a toe in the water a meeting an artist at Artist Alley and saying, hey, do you want to, this is my idea, you want to work with it on me? And he said, yeah. And I was like, it was kind of like the whole he said yes thing, because his art was so amazing. I look at his table and I'm like, this guy's never going to work with me, And then I pitch him my idea. He's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. So, but yeah, that one definitely has more of a kind of an Indiana Jones adventure type feel to it, and I wanted it to be a bit more broad in a sense of I could sell it to kids and it's it was black and white, and it was just my first shot, So going into the full 32 pages of issue number 1. Yeah, that was a bit of an experience, and I met Topper, the interior artist, at another show in Northern Illinois, and we clicked very well. And yeah, the art style is quite a bit different, but I'm still real pleased with that. I'm still happy with it. He likes big panels. He likes big set pieces.
That's an interesting point of view, because you worked with two different. So with both artists, did you obviously you told your story a little differently. You had to, because they each have different styles and different strengths. But what did it teach you? That's definitely, because you're kind of a director in this case, and they're doing like the heavy lifting and using their muscles to tell your story. But they tell it differently, and I think, and honestly, they both do a really, really good job. But it's just like, did it teach you anything, like in terms of the collaborative process?
Yes, there's definitely you have to really, I don't know how to describe it really, but as the writer, you're also kind of the editor, unless you hire one, which I highly recommend. So you have to really, this is the person you're working with, so you have to be gentle sometimes in your suggestions or your criticism. Although once you establish a relationship, like I have with Topper, we're working on issue number 3. It's nice because I could just tell him, this isn't what's supposed to be happening here. Can you change it? Can you fix it? And he's like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. So, unfortunately, I haven't worked with Sajad long enough to establish that, but there's a certain level of comfort that you get when you work with the same artist for a long stretch of time. So it's been like probably 3 years I've been working with Topper, and he's got pages coming back from me. I'm getting back pages from issue 3, and they're outstanding, and they're going to be awesome. So I'm having a good time with that.
Illustrators, thumbnails are your friend. Just saying, thumbnails are your friend, because they save a lot of time on both ends.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely get, like, he does roughs of each page, and then I approve them. But they're roughs. They're not very defined,
and nor should they be. That's not what that's for.
Right. But then when the pencils come through, then you can see the higher level of detail, and then you say, well, no, this is what I had in mind here, or here's a detail that you missed that needs to be there for the story. So I'm lucky to have that relationship with Topper, where I can just lay it out there, say, hey, this is what you missed, or this is what I had. This is the idea I had for this panel, and he runs with it. It's great. We got a great relationship.
Cool. So then I'm going to throw it this way. How has Topper made your work better? I'm not talking in terms of drawing, like something he's collaborated into your story. You're like, I never thought of that. That's awesome.
He has done Sabanion. I always thought Sabanion would be very difficult to draw because he spins, and he's fiery, and he basically is a special effect almost. He's not a superhero in tights with muscles and that flies, and you can have all these poses and things like that. I mean, Sabanion's a kind of a rippling, seething, and when the action comes down, he spins. So he's like this tornado of destruction, And I worried about whoever I was going to work with. Are they going to be able to relate this so that it makes sense in the action of the story? And he's done it really well. I can't complain.
I lost you. I lost your volume a little bit there.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that.
Lost you again.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. How's that? Is that better?
It's a little better. It's not quite where it was. What happened? Did you hit a button? Did something?
No.
Now I hear you again.
Okay. Let me close the door here real quick. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. We're closing the door on this live stream. This is why I don't sing, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Sorry about that. So Topper has how has he made it better? Topper has the power of the exorcists. I'm not sure if you've gotten into issue number 2 yet.
I haven't gotten it. You never gave me 2. You only gave me 1. So that's.
Oh.
No, it's okay. No, good. No. I honestly can I be fair? I feel like if I were to I read number 2, I should buy it. That's the that's not because, and I say this because I honestly you wrote a great book. It's solid. It's a solid. I feel like it reminded me a little bit of like the modern Hawkman a little bit. It reminded me a little bit like the Indiana Jones, and it's got like this really cool historic tapestry. So it's almost like it is a pulpy adventure kind of. It feels like a bit like a pulpy adventure with like so, I'm not doing this justice, ladies and gentlemen. It basically
that's all right.
These 2 spirits are trapped in this faculty, and this order, this religious order that you never see or hear of is trying to keep things like this in check, and she's about to escape. And that's basically the issue 1 is about her and Sabanion just trying to just get out. And you see that she can possess different people, and it's interesting because you don't expect him to be kind of the conscience of the 2 of them, but he kind of is. Which is a neat little twist on how looks can be deceiving.
Well, he's the one that's always going to tell it like it is. So yeah, he will be the one to point out just kind of how ridiculous, moral, how sometimes the moral judgments and the way we look at things. He obviously has an eternal point of view, and he's been a punisher. He was created basically to punish the wrathful in hell. He's a wrath demon. So he's going to be very much the cynic, and he's not going to put up with any human bullshit, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas Spectress is, she's yearning to make that connection back to be human again. And she, she possesses people, but it's very, there are some big moral questions there, some big issues. If I possess this body and I do things, what might happen?
It's the kind like when the main character she possesses pays a very heavy price for her possession in the first issue. It's like that was like, so I was like, ooh, that's nasty, right? And so, no, there's some. So like I said, I'm not doing this justice, ladies and gentlemen. Really not. Not here. When I write this is why I haven't written the review yet. It's like I haven't been in the headspace to do this. To be exactly right, but it's interesting because your story is about, in some ways, it's about the healthiness of letting go and the consequences of when you don't. At least that's how I read the first issue. It's almost about she's been dead for a long time, like a very, very long time. And where most of us would move on, she can't let go.
Right.
And I'm not, and so I'm looking at, like I said, when I look at her, it's about like her and Sabanion. I look at him like he's not the best. He might have been tied to her in some form or fashion, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that he's the quote unquote villain. I'm sure he had his own reasons for this in the beginning, but I almost feel like he kind of wants this to be over. And it's like, but can we move on? Like to something else? Anything else? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he has his reasons for the things he does, and that's going to be explored probably in issue 4 or 5. And we'll get more. Issue 4 is definitely going to be a big backstory on Spectress, and then he'll probably get his big backstory the issue after that. So, but he is. There are a lot of different things that motivate him, and number one is the ritual, kind of the ritual that you saw in issue number 1, that needs to happen, and if it doesn't, bad things will happen to both of them, and that that isn't quite clear yet what those terrible things are, but that's really the one thing that Spectress has to keep him in check, to keep him from exploding into an orgy of violence, because without that, he's a demon. What would keep him in check? What would keep him from going crazy and just, exposing himself and her and going on a huge destructive spree? So there's that play between the two of them, that they need each other, and so this is how, she's freeing him, and he's this terrible. He's a demon. He's a wrath demon. He's an engine of destruction, but she's got the ritual on him, and they both need to participate, and they both need to be willing. And if these things don't occur on the nights of the full moon, bad stuff is going to happen. So that's kind of I always liked the idea of the twin, the Cloak and Dagger and the Power Man and Iron Fist, and kind of those buddy teams that depend on each other, but kind of flipping that on its head a little bit, because it's more out of necessity than friendship. You know what I mean?
it to me, it was almost like, what if Hellspawn and Spawn were joined at the hip? Right?
Say that again?
I'm sorry, Violator and Spawn were joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, right. They wouldn't like it. They would be very, very unhappy with each other, and coming to terms with each other would be very difficult at best. This isn't quite that. I don't feel it's quite that, especially since I read Zero. I feel like, yeah, like, I guess the question here is what does she want? Because she wants that connection, but the question is why, right? And man, we went all over the place there. All this from what Topper brought to the story. But what I wanted to say, but yeah, like straight up, like you have a very. Is this a finite story? Because it feels like it's a finite story. Like there's a specific end you're going for here.
Ooh, yes. There is an end, but I could push that end off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The ideas, yeah.
Absolutely. But it feels to me like, just based on what I'm seeing here, depending on what their motivations are and all that stuff, this feels like a very solid, like 10 to 20 issue story if you really want to push it to 10 or 20 issues. And I think at that point, I think I probably would wrap it up, just because I think you have a unique concept, but there's something to be said. I think this is just something that I think we talked a little bit last time. I think comics today need to have written with an Act 3 in mind. Like you can expound on Act 2 for a while, but I think one of the things I'm noticing with the North American marketplace in particular, Act 3s don't exist enough. They do exist,
yeah,
not enough books, and it definitely wrecks the. I think it wrecks the momentum of a lot of books. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the idea that, for example, that Tim Drake is Robin. That's awesome, but Tim Drake has to go somewhere at some point.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
Well, it's a different, it's a different environment, for like the big two and their heroes and those things. Could I see my characters in those worlds? Maybe not. Maybe more in the Spawn world, I would think.
Yeah. But even Spawn, 300 issues of Spawn. I think there was a point where the character was. I think there's something to be said about coming in, saying what you really want to say,
Yeah.
and then just leaving it down, and then occasionally coming back to it every so often.
Yeah.
But that's maybe that's just me. I don't know. I might be like weird that way.
We'll see. The funny thing, I think what's really going to drive new stories and new story arcs are going to be villains. I have so many great ideas for villains. Well, I think they're great, but
don't sell yourself short. I literally just talked to somebody because they're going through the rejection process of reviews right now. Hey, listen, I think my novel's amazing. Not everybody's going to think my novel's as amazing as I do. Right, but that's part of the business too. Like you have to be real about the fact that like what you write isn't going to be for everybody. But honestly, man, the fact that you have taken your work and you're putting it out there, that's an achievement in of itself. Especially in a world in which comics art is a tough business to get into. It really, really is. And
I agree. It's it's expensive, really. Honestly, let's just put it out there. You got to, if you can't draw your own comic book, it's expensive. You gotta pay for the art, the colors, the lettering. And I just started going with an editor. That's a little extra, and so and then you got to pay to print it. So the artists and the letterers, they all get paid for that.
Well, you're the last guy to get paid. Like you
are. I get paid when I do a Kickstarter. Well, not even then, honestly. That covers the printing costs and those things. But I have to sell a lot of books if I want to, even break even. So, it's fun. Everybody's got hobbies.
It's not. I'm gonna call you out a little on that. It's more than a hobby for you. You want to do this. If you didn't want to do this, you wouldn't have put this money into it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be going through the stress of 2 Kickstarters if it were just a hobby.
Yeah, so, it's just a hobby. I'm just doing this for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, you're right. I'd like it to be, something big, something I can switch over to eventually. So.
I just keep telling so I had a buddy of mine. I gave him the best advice I could give him, and I learned this from just in my other writing careers, is simply the fact that you have to prove you can finish work. That's actually the big secret to this industry. Can you finish the job? Because if you can't finish the job, right, no one's going to want to hire you. Now, I'm sure there are properties you want to work or somewhere down the road, but so if you go to them and say, hey, listen, I have a Spawn story I really, really want to do. They're like, that's nice. So there's a million other people. But do a million other people have a graphic novel? Why, no, they do not have this graphic novel.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. This is kind of sexy, right? I like it. Do you got anything else? I do. I have this bad boy. Eventually, once you prove yourself, once you establish a track record, it's like anything else. Once you establish a track record doing something, people respect you in those fields, whatever it is. I think the hardest thing about the comic industry, because it's so expensive, is the fact that you've got to establishing that track record can take years because it's not so quick, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about the big four and how they crank out, monthly titles, and that's, you got to do that full time if you wanna have a quality product, and B, have a monthly schedule. That's that's incredible. That's and then the writer will turn out maybe 3 or 4 scripts in a month's time, which is hugely prolific. For me, or you and I, who maybe have full-time gigs, and we're working on this. Right now we don't have conventions, so I'm working on a Kickstarter schedule, which honestly is nice because my artist can kick back and really take his time with every page, and he's doing that because we're in, I'll have this fulfilled probably January, February, and then, probably come March is when we'll start the next Kickstarter. So he's got all that time to spend on those pages, and they're fantastic. I mean, honestly, it's gonna be awesome, issue 3. But yeah, but you're right. I mean, I'm building some intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'm proving that I can create a story and have characters with different voices and develop a plot and those things. And so, yeah, maybe I'm building my,
you're building your empire. You're
Empire
Kurt.
We'll see. I guess.
Listen, you might as well think big. Why not? Look, I mean, I look at, so a very wise person by the name of Colleen Duran said that the big money in comics is your backlist, right?
Yeah.
It's true in books too. Like I have 5 books. Every time I release a book now, all my other books do better. All of them.
Oh wow! Okay.
Right. Because what happens is I have a track record, right? So they see this book and think, what else has this guy done? Holy shit, he's done stuff. And then they look and they buy, and if they really, really like it, they'll let you know. If they really, really don't like it, they'll let you know. That's life, right?
That's the nature of the beast, yeah.
Right, that's the nature of the beast. But what's happening is every time I release something, I have proven myself to be more reliable. It sounds really dumb, but it really, showing up and doing it is actually, it's the secret to everything. I've actually I honestly think that that's I have 8 rules to success. The first rule is show up. It sounds like the dumbest fucking rule in the world, right?
But that's a big part of it. Yeah. Making it
all of it. It's scary how much it's all of it. I mean, it's like, wow, all I gotta do is show up and prove I can do this. That's rule 2. Do your shit. That's rule 2.
Sorry, what's number 2?
Do your shit.
Oh yeah.
That's rule 2. Would you like to hear all 8 rules since I got given you the first 2?
Say again.
You want to hear all 8 rules since I've given you the first 2?
Yeah, give me all 8 of them. Yeah, fire away.
Show up.
Yep.
Do your shit. Don't quit.
Right.
The rest is rain. So that one always flounders people. Here's the thing. Can you control the rain? I can't.
No.
Results. Basically, it's a reminder that no matter what you do, the results will always vary. Doesn't matter. And you have to be okay with the results that are beyond your control. Rule 5. Get out of your fucking way. Honestly, this one did not hit me until I started actually seeing success. One day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna realize that people like your stuff, and because it is really good stuff. And honestly, you should think of it as it's really good stuff. You'll find your audience, you'll find your click, and you've already probably noticed that your Kickstarter's gradually gotten bigger and bigger in terms of money and output, things of that nature, right? You've already started to notice this. So you're gonna come to a point somewhere where it's like, oh my god, this pays for itself now. What the hell?
Yeah.
Right. And looking forward to that. It's coming. You do another couple more issues, you'll be there. You might hit it in a couple more issues.
Yeah.
And when you do, you can be like, holy shit! I'm going to turn a buck. I actually might turn a profit like this. Holy shit! How did I do that? and that's going to hit you. That's going to hit you.
Yeah.
And when it does, you're going to be like, okay, this is what I did. And now this is rule 5, essentially. I looked at what I did really well. I look at what I don't do well. And then I tell myself, do more of the first and try as much as you can to avoid the second. But recognize your limitations as a person.
Or get help.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no. That's great advice. Right?
Yeah.
If that's available to you, get help. But any way you do it, get the fuck out of your own way.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yeah. You gotta. Yeah.
Rule 6: no excuses. You do or you don't. Rule 7: be grateful, be charitable. And rule 8: stay uncomfortable. I have a part-time gig right now, and I don't want a full-time gig. If I was, I don't. My time is valuable. I also, again, I have the luxury of the fact that I don't have a family to support. I'm house sitting right now. I don't have a bill. I don't really even have rent right now to worry about. So
Okay.
what I can do in the interim right now is like take advantage of this opportunity and go. Let's go all in and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, cool. Whatever. I can't sustain a living doing this. I shrug my shoulders. I tried.
Yep.
Time to try, right? But at the same token, it's like, okay, but I have to take this seriously. I have to wake up. This is what I do every day. And like I said, I realized like this is my second stream. You're like literally day 2. You're 2. You're the second person in, and I recognize the fact that I'm putting in the work. So my suggestion to you, Mr. Emperor Kurt, I'm going to call you Emperor Kurt. I think I like that actually a lot.
Wait, what?
Emperor Kurt. I think I'm going to call you Emperor Kurt because I like that.
Okay.
Right. Instead of looking at your day job as a day job, look at comics as your job, and look at your day job as just what you have to do to get there.
Right.
That's
what I'm doing already.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's good. That's good.
Tell anybody. Shh.
Your secret is safe with everybody here. Everybody here. Right. So.
All right. Cool. Secret safe with you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's totally it. But that's the thing, right? I recognize the fact that most of us, when we get to this point, wherever we're at, we don't take it seriously enough. We want it so bad on one hand, but we're scared of it too. And because of that fear, we often let ourselves get in our own way. Success scares us more than failure. I actually truly believe that.
Yeah, I think I'm not quite there yet. I'm ready for some success. I'm ready to definitely ready to get back on the convention scene again.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my God.
I just really enjoy. What's funny is it's a tad exhausting, but at the same time, when you're there and there's people and there's cosplayers and there's other artists and just all the strangeness that goes on. I miss that. I miss that so much. And
so inspiring, honestly. It's so inspiring.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just people, everyone's so nice. There's no animosity. There's no beefs. It's just cool. It's just people having fun and doing what they want to do, which to me is the way it should be.
I have a fun question for you. What's been your favorite costume? Like you've seen walk by you. It's a hard one.
Oh, it is. I have to say, there was the old movie The Mummy with. There was a Rick O'Connell.
Oh wow!
He had like the book, and he was dressed up. It was like perfect. Rick O'Connell from The Mummy. And he that's like one of my favorites. So I love that. That was for me. That was awesome. That was
so I'll tell you mine.
Go for it.
One time, my very first show in Calgary, I see this big like piss demon walk by, and with him was his daughter, baby Yoshi.
Oh.
So I and even though to be fair, I've seen better costumes. I'm not going to argue that. I've seen some better performances. But there's something about this big demonic looking kiss demon dad being such a sweetheart to his little girl who's in his Yoshi costume.
Right.
That you're just like, aw.
It's sometimes it's not always the technical detail. Sometimes it's just how it's clever. It makes sense and it's fun and it's clever and that.
Well, yeah,
that means a lot.
It's the heart of it, right? We all. Yeah, I miss conventions so much. I miss conventions. I miss heavy metal concerts. I miss Yeah, I'm a mafia guy. I really feel I miss the pit. I really, really do. Um, but I miss so many. I miss I miss the interaction. I really
Yeah.
do. I miss it. I love it. The thing I love about 101 Tales. Um, the thing about 101 Tales is, as cool as it was, I would have loved to have met somebody face to face. I would have loved to have
Oh,
met.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Mog and Mel. I think me like would be fun. Just eat sushi with and just talk about random stuff. Me and Elsa would just probably get to sit in the corner somewhere and talk. Like she did Avatar. I was like, oh my god, that was a dream conversation right there. It's like, oh yeah, right. Oh my god,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then like there's and everybody like Kitsune Windsor, so fun, such a fun person. Yourself, I think we'd have fun. Michael Oden, me and him would talk comics for days. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Well, I'm going to get up there. I have some family in Toronto.
Okay.
So when the things start firing back up again, I want to get up there and do
Yeah,
some.
no, dude, we'll have a drink wherever I live.
Oh,
Wherever, yeah, we'll meet
oh, yeah.
somewhere. Have a drink. Get Canadian beer, not American beer. So no. Actually, I can disrespect American beer. Most of it sucks. Most of it sucks.
Oh well, it's mass produced, whatever. There's so many
Our
craft.
mass produced beer is better than
The
yours.
the the explosion of craft beers is almost too much, but some of them are pretty good. So.
No. Actually, craft beers can be quite enjoyable.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if I ever go to a bar, I went to this one bar. I came back. I was living in Calgary. I flew down to Arizona, and they only had like they didn't have very much in the way of bar stuff. They just had the generic mass-produced stuff. But I just literally come off a mountain, and I'm from Canada. I'm not getting drunk. I'm getting bloated. I mean, there's it's like,
Yeah, some of it's just not.
yeah, it's like I'm not even gonna get buzzed from this. Fuck. Give me water. That's it. Might as well. Give me water. It's like I'm not gonna feel anything
Don't
else.
bother.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cheaper too. So
it's
yeah,
cheaper. I'm not gonna feel. I'm not gonna feel. Because if you don't, like, honestly, it sounds really bad, but it's true. If you don't get at least a little bit of the edge taken off when you have a beer,
yeah.
you feel like you've been ripped off. Like you honestly feel like you've been like, what the hell?
That's what beer's for. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, it's not an everyday thing for me, but when I do have it, it's like like let's take the edge off. Let's feel good about ourselves. And since we're on the air, drink and drive responsibly, kids. Just drink.
Right, right.
Yeah, totally. Um, but yeah, that's it, right? So yeah. So you come up here, and yeah, no man, I'd love to hang out with you. And when this is over, I may have promised to buy Kitsune's book this week, so I'm gonna buy hers this week. But yeah, like we'll talk afterwards. I'll figure out when I can buy yours too, because I honestly feel like with yeah, you were very generous about giving me a copy to review. I'm not gonna ask for another issue to review because honestly, I know what I'm getting with your book.
Okay.
I've read your book. If I'm going to get another book, I should buy it. You worked your ass off to make it. And then that call me old fashioned, but
That's the way. Yes, yes, you should buy it. Yeah, it is old fashioned, isn't it? That's the shame of it. I remember, somewhere on Twitter or something, somebody they like a comic creator would screenshot a picture of somebody saying, "Oh, they canceled that comic." That's I love that one. And of course it was on a pirate site. And they're complaining that there's the series that they love was canceled. It's just the irony of that. I can't see how people don't see.
I see. I'm the comic marketplace is a weird thing. I think so. Back in the day, I always remember Metallica would bring that bring tape recorders to hear them live. I think I'm in a weird spot. I don't condone piracy, But if my stuff's being pirated, that means there's demand for it somewhere. That's not that. So it's kind of a weird. It's a weird like thing. It's like I don't want it. I want to buy. I want to make as much money as I can, strictly as a businessman. But as just a little bit being pragmatic about it, the fact that it's out there and it's being pirated to live, I don't want to be all pirated. I work my own stuff. I better pay me. But I mean, there's
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
not justifying it, by the way, folks. I'm really
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm saying it's there. If your book is good enough to be pirated, you know you're on kind of on the right. It's a weird.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
It's a weird thing, but true. But
it's you know, for like TV shows and you know, some of the things that I like, you know, and you make recommendations to your friends, and you know, I got friends that live up in Wisconsin and all over, and you know, well, this isn't available here, you know, this show, or you know, on cable or whatever, and I'm like, well, try to find it and subscribe, and you know, but it's really good, so if you can't subscribe to it, pay for it, you know, still try to find it. So it's tough. It's
I just figure it's the nature of the beast, right? It's like you have to accept the fact that okay, not everybody that's going to create my shit is going to buy it. You gotta accept that. You just gotta accept that, and then from there, what you want to get to the point is that one asshole that steals it is an equivalent to 1,000 people to buy it.
Yeah.
That's what you want, right? Right, that's what you want. It's when your book. This is when you worry. Is when you are charging. On average, a comics generally probably worth closer to $10-$20 to figure out the cost to put it all together. Realistically, you can't charge that because we've been conditioned to buy a book for $5.
Right.
So that requires a lot of sales to make your end. So let's say that you were one of the ghost pretentious guys and charged $40 for a book. Hey, my book's worth $40. Guess what? Everybody would be on Pirate's side at that point. It's like, hey, you know what? It might be a great book, but there are pressure points there. And like I said, I don't like. Again, I am not condoning piracy, but it's there, and you gotta look at what it actually does.
Yeah, you got to be pragmatic too. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, my issue, my preview issue, it's up for, you know, I've offered it free already in a couple different places. So, you know, digitally, you know, always, you know, I will probably never give away physical printed copies for free, but digitally, you know, it's not, you know, it doesn't bother me quite.
I have a hilarious story about a convention. It was Phoenix. This is hilarious. So this old lady comes to my table. Okay. Buy my comics on display. I actually put out 3 comics. Some comics on display. I have my books. Looks up a book. Look, hey, this is great. Yeah. It's like I said, would you like it? She goes, yeah, sure. So she takes it and just walks away. Like,
excuse me. You know, yeah, that's.
She was gone. It was like, like the Reds. Like the moment she disappeared, everybody it's like, I just got ripped off. What you can do.
Yeah, so why not? I could, yeah, sure, have, you know, go ahead. Okay, you know, that's funny. That's
yeah, real like a real convention story, ladies and gentlemen.
You have to wonder if she honestly thought it was free just because she's at a comic book show. She's probably like, comics, you know, big deal. Or
yeah, that's the thing. Right? It's like I'm almost like I just lost money on that. On the same token, she probably had no idea she's supposed to buy it. What the hell do I do here?
Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am. Not for free. But Well, what are you gonna do? Those things are gonna happen from time to
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure. Like I figured you enjoy that little story. So we're talking about free stuff there. But I mean, we're in a weird spot. Artists are told to give their stuff away on some level to give it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning. So there's creative me going. I get the value of that. So people get a sense of that, whatever that. The Kurt Zauer experience. Get your book. Read that zero issue. You get an idea what you're getting into. Let's go for the first issue. The Joshua and Coloresco experience. I put up on even on Long Tales. I put up a little short story, just for anyone that they want it. They can just take it because it's just a good introduction to what I do when I'm writing. But at the flip side, it's like, okay, that's there is now business hat. I learned as a freelancer that people don't always, and this is going to sound contrary to what I said earlier about the piracy thing. There is a balance with this, but people respect you when there's a certain price tag on it. And it's weird, but sometimes price is actually indicative of respect. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I have.
Oh yeah. Um, I think they've done some studies or whatever where if sometimes if they a company will raise the price of their item and they watch sales go up because they think they're buying a higher quality item. So yeah, like you say, never sell yourself short. If you believe in yourself and you believe you got a good product, you know don't sell yourself short. For my stuff, I mean, I've got on my Kickstarter all the original art, and I've sold a few pieces, and those artists, they work with me to sell their stuff on the Kickstarter, and I'm not about to sell their stuff short. Um,
No.
and same with the work that I've done uh, for when I get back to that convention and I get product in front of me, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. But that price tag is going to be there, and it's I might have whatever convention special, but hey, this is my product. I believe in it, and this is what I believe it's worth. So I'm not gonna.
And you need to have that. I mean, and
Yeah.
also you also have the like, the work that goes into it, and then that's the other thing too. If you've actually done your own work, if you've
Oh yeah.
actually done your own work, you really do recognize just how much um, this is how valuable that kind of thing really is because you're the time. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're writing the script. You're not drawing it day in and day out, but you're involved in that process the whole way through it.
Well, right, and the art is a big investment.
Yeah, not just
So
money, but time as well.
right, yeah.
Right. So you just from that alone, like you have a greater appreciation of worth. Then you put yourself with some of your peers, right, and the work they're doing and the work they're putting out and what they're going for, right? And you're like, okay, now I know why your art topper costs what he costs. I know why Mog Park costs what she costs. I know why because I know the work put in, the years, the time, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the sacrifices. Art, much like sports in this one sense, it's a discipline. You show up, you do it day in and day out, and your time into it equates like quality. Eventually, no matter who you are, that voice you have, that define that makes you you, you'll have it all figured out to a hopefully a better degree, a better deal, and it'll become really worth something as time goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, we'll see. That's the whole idea.
So we talked about your comic book master plans. So you got anything? We talked about short stories briefly. Do you want to do prose as well, or do you want to do like screenplays? Like what is so? Let's assume everything's magical Christmas. Everything you want, there's a pathway to it. So what do
Uh,
you want to do? Like where do you want to take everything you're doing?
well, that's the question. I'm still kind of working that out. I love the comic book process, the script, and seeing the art that comes back based on the things that I wrote, for me, that's magical. That's amazing. Screenwriting, I think it'd be an easy leap to make it from comic book script writing into screenwriting. That's something, I could look. I'm not really looking at that right now, but it's something I could certainly do in the future. Um, the short story thing, I'm a little iffy on that. We'll see. I mean, I've always just loved stories. The medium is, sometimes I think about Spectress and Sabanion, and the story is not simple. It's a complex story, and there's a lot of backstory, and I'm thinking, God, maybe this would be better as a written novel, because of the characters and the history and the emotions that fly back and forth between the different entities and characters in the story. Is it too? Am I trying to squeeze too much into am I being too wordy in my scripts and my dialogue and my captioning and those things? If I am, maybe I'm using the wrong medium. Maybe I should be writing this as a short story or a novel.
I didn't get that impression when I read your first issue that you were overly. This wasn't like reading Brian Michael Bendis dialogue, where
Okay.
it just was the page and it's like you should be writing screenplays. This is not.
All right.
I came here for the art, and I don't see any of it. Where did it go? And that I don't have that problem.
Okay. All right.
Brian Michael Bendis. If you just happen to see this somehow, some way, I'll know I genuinely like your writing. But sometimes you just devour a page. Like literally, it's a white space monster. It's like a Pac-Man. Nom 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 nom. Right down the side of the page.
Yeah.
It's the truth, right? But the thing about it is you don't have that. It's okay. Like the cool thing about comics is you can actually put a lot of different mediums inside comics. So you look at like a book like Watchmen or American Flag or even Dark Knight, like Return. There are a lot of techniques. Like a Watchmen in particular is like one, an American Flag. Both of those, American Flag doesn't get talked about anywhere near as much as the other two I mentioned. But if you look at it, that one and you look at Watchmen, you really can see that the comic book medium can go a variety of different perspectives. You could actually sneak prose into your story, and it actually would work. Yeah, it's all in your presentation.
Yeah. Providence. I don't know if you've read Alan Moore's. He did a Cthulhu, like a 10 or 12 page run, and at the end of each comic book, there's like 5 or 6 pages of prose at the end. It's like in a diary journal type format. And no, I see what you're saying. I'm gonna.
And for those wondering, Alan Moore did Watchmen as well. That's yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read that. I need to get back to that again. But well, we'll see. Time will tell. All I can do is try and keep writing. So
yeah, I mean, so what's your first start? How long is your first arc? Because it sounds like it's going all the way to at least issue 5. I get the feeling issue 6 is the magic number there.
Probably 6 at the most. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna at least do this for 6 issues, and I feel that. I feel you have. Okay, I think this is the big question for you. What would make you happiest? Kurt Zauer, comic book writer, Kurt Zauer, director, or Kurt Zauer, novelist?
Oh, we're talking about director, like film director.
Yes, if we're talking director like film,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. Life too short. Hey, life is long on possibilities, my friend. You got to think.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I reviewed a couple. Just from making contacts at shows and stuff. I've taken a look at like 2 screenplays and just people bounce things off me and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything's possible. I actually have person on my email list. I guess you call him a fan. He's done really well. He's written one comic, but then he also got entered in some kind of contest, a screenwriters contest, and he's active in that now too. So, there are certainly possibilities. There are, the sky's the limit. Anything could happen, especially, when you're in the industry that we are, entertainment and stories and who knows, anything's possible. It's exciting.
Storytelling is a universal constant. It really, really is.
And it is, yes.
And the trick is understanding how your mediums best tell their stories. And what you'll learn is the more you do them, is each medium can actually help you tell your story in other mediums better.
Yeah, you've written some books. So, what did you do? Where did you start? Did you start comics?
No, I started. I started poetry.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I started poetry. So no, I was actually okay. So to be fair, I wanted to do a comic. I wanted to do a comic, and everything I went through to get that out there kind of made me go, maybe I'm not ready to do this yet. But I've always been a big fan. So I love Japanese light novels, Japanese light novels, Japanese manga. I love the structure of it, and I love the old science fiction dime novels. I love that style. That's like, and ladies and gentlemen, yeah, if you notice that a light novel is a very tiny novel, and that the dime novels are also tiny novels. Yes, I really love what you can do in that space. It's a really neat. It's a really neat little spot where you can tell a big enough story that you can entertain an audience for a significant amount of time, but then you leave. And I think like my favorite author in that regard is Roger Zelazny or Ray Bradbury. I'm old. I can't say I'm old school.
Okay. Yeah.
Zelazny's Nine Princes in Amber is kind of like the model of what I love to go for in a story, in terms of you tell a complete beginning, middle, and end, and he did it in like 200 pages. I was like, that's really really good. Like the books still hold up well today. It's the first 5 of them do anyway. You're like, that's a really good story. So that's kind of so I went to poetry because I figured it would be a good way to learn.
Yeah.
I accidentally wrote the book that became The Watcher, and it accidentally got published, like legitimately.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up. So I want to do like a longer poem than a page. I don't want to do. And I'm not doing roses are red, violets are red. I'm not doing it like
yeah.
a longer. I wanted to tell a story with a poem. And I had this, and like just we're talking about the day job stuff. Like I hated my day job. Like not because the job was a bad job, right? I'm doing similar work right this minute, and I don't want to work, but I'm more than that, right? And that feeling, I'm sure you definitely are familiar with that feeling, and so I wrote this story about the kid in the watchtower and his family in this compound where they worked for the dragon. And he'd always be looking out into the horizon to check for rain and weather. He'd always be by himself, just wondering what was out there. I really liked that, like first chapter. So I was like, well, what happens next? So then he kills his dragon master and flees. So I can't end the story there.
Right.
So chapter 3 is his first night alone in the wilderness. I thought, and it's really cool because it's him dealing with the fact that he murdered his dragon master. He's by himself, and he doesn't know what to do next. Like he has no idea. And then I read chapter 4. I read part 4, and when I got to 5, I'm like, fuck it, this is my story. I don't care. This is a Gilgamesh style epic. I don't care. This is the story. And so I wrote the story. I ended up finding an illustrator. Her name's Florence Chan. And I say this over and over again. Anyone that's listening to this podcast, she's one of the most professional people I've ever worked with, and she made it better. So my plan was, hey, I'm going to publish this on Smashwords and just an ebook and just make print copies for like conventions.
Yeah,
that's it. That was the plan. So I've been interviewing people for about 20 years. I've been doing podcasts for 5. I've been interviewing people for about 20 years. So this one person I interviewed just bought the book and she goes to me, well, this is cool. What are you going to do with it? And I'm like, But I just told you. So she goes to me, well, I just signed a deal with Ingram, a distributor. I'm starting my own publishing company. I'll publish it.
Wow. There you go.
Polish. So if I'm nothing else, I am living proof that happy accidents result from doing stuff.
Sometimes it's just the right place and the right time,
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's why I dream big, because you never like this conversation is going to be listened to by who knows how many people. Like the live stream, only a handful of people will listen to it live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But considering this is my second stream, I'm okay with this. Right? This is better than I expected for a second stream.
Right.
So one day someone's going to look at these conversations and go, this guy can really do an interview. And then maybe I just the right person at the right time will go in the comment section and go, hey, listen, I got this show I'd like you to work on. You never know. Like, it can happen.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't happen. But what did I get out of this? I got to spend just an hour tonight talking to a dude I met, and we're talking about terrible beer in the United States. We're talking about comics. Talking about the fact he's a pretty darn good comic writer in his own way, and maybe just maybe I'm also quietly encouraging him to think bigger because he can and he should. Right? Because I know you're in I know you're in the middle of the journey, not at the end of the journey, but
I'm pretty much still starting.
Yeah.
The starting side of middle, but
yeah. But okay, fair enough. But I think this is what I think. I maybe if anything else from this conversation, you're going somewhere. I think. I think the biggest question you need to ask yourself is, where do I really want to go? No. I mean, keep yourself open to other possibilities. But I mean, I tend to believe that people tend to go exactly where they envision. And so, I mean, just have the courage to have a vision that you want. Like, look, I see this as a television show. It'd be a cool, like, Gargoyles-esque Disney cartoon would be amazing. Like, that's me, right? But that's my vision for it. That may not be yours, right?
More as a Castlevania.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with
Castlevania's level. Animation and voice work. Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, but I'm just saying, like, why not believe that? Like, that could be the end goal. I really could call you Emperor Kurt.
Anything's possible. We shall see.
Yeah, we shall. Yeah. So I think we have an interview here, Mr. Kurt. What do you think?
I think this has been cool. Yeah. I'm going to plug my Kickstarter real quick.
Actually, right before you do that, I did actually want to. There was one. I was going to ask one last thing before we did that. Crap! I lost it. Never mind. Plug your stuff, and we'll get to.
That's all right. That's cool. But yeah, okay. So I'm on Kickstarter. Issue number 2 is issues 0 through 2 are currently active. Just look up Spectress and Sabanion. My name is Kurt Zauer. You can search. Probably the easiest thing would be to search my name on Kickstarter. It ends this Friday at midnight, Black Friday, and I'm going to actually be doing a live stream starting at 11 p.m. Central Time, and we're going to count down that last hour of the campaign. And Mog Park will be there probably. Chris Enot will be there, my cover artist. Maybe Topper, my interior artist, and I'm going to try to get Wesley too, my colorist, and we'll all get on there and chat and shoot the breeze.
Where you guys?
Oh, right here on StreamYard.
On StreamYard?
Yeah.
Like on Facebook, or you can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, like where you guys can.
It'll be Facebook Live. I didn't upgrade the StreamYard yet. I'm thinking about doing that. It's like a subscription, right? You got to pay for it.
Well, you can always like I have it my StreamYard just for my Twitch for the time being because I can from Twitch I can go anywhere else. But I mean, that's me. I'm just saying, like, if people know where to find you actually, okay, dude, seriously, from here until we get till you get to Friday, wherever you decide to do the countdown, just hype it every day.
Oh yeah. It's on Facebook right now. I've already scheduled it, so it's there, and I'm gonna share it out, do all that.
Do all that stuff. And Kurt Zauer can be found. Do you have a website?
kgcomics.com.
All right. So, on that note, I'm going to thank Kurt very much for being on my podcast or in my talk show. And this is his second time in a few weeks, and he's still here. So I guess I must be doing something right. So maybe.
Thinking it's cool.
Yeah, come back when issue 3 is ready to rock and roll.
Yes, definitely. Early next year, probably.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. If you like what you heard or seen, I have a subscribe button for my channel, both on Twitch and YouTube. My YouTube channel is Joshua Cantalarosco. My Twitch is just Joshua Podcast. Click subscribe. If you guys like anything else I'm doing, my links and Kurt's links are going to be in the descriptions below. Feel free to peruse as you like. His Kickstarter closes Friday. Thank you everybody for the time. Thank you, Kurt. Stay inspired, everybody, and I'll see you guys Thursday with William Holland.
Sounds good. Take care, Josh.